everyone, I am Basilia for 5 Foot Nomad and welcome to my channel. Here I talk about my digital nomad lifestyle, sharing my experiences in the places that I've lived in and visited, to help you make an informed decision if you want to visit or live in one of the places that I've been to. So in this video guys, like I promised in the last video, I said that I would make a video about the things that I love and hate about Israel. So this is it. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 things that I loved about living in Israel. So if this is something that's really interesting for you, make sure you watch the video until the end. And if you're new to my channel, you can hit that subscribe button if you like my content, and you can hit the notification bell so you get notified when I release new videos. So let's get into it guys. So like I said before, I spent 13 months in Israel in total. The first time I spent 9 months, and then I moved to Cape Verde, and then I came back to Israel and I spent 4 months. And the reason that I can't even visit Israel or live in Israel is because I'm married to an Israeli, right? If I wasn't married to an Israeli, the only way that I would have been able to visit Israel as a Nigerian would have been through pilgrimage, which sucks in a way because you're very restricted as a pilgrim. You're being guided through a few places that you can see, and you don't really experience the country. You're just going to all these religious sites and you don't really understand. So I'm glad that I've had the experience to actually live in Israel for 13 months and visit almost all the cities of Israel and go to so many places, try a million things, and visit so many places as well. So I'm really grateful for that experience, right? And yeah, so guys, let's get right to it, right? The 10 things that I loved about living in Israel. The first one is Israel is a very beautiful and diverse country, okay? I've been to over 14 to 15 countries, and I must say Israel is one of the most beautiful and diverse place that I've ever been to. There's so much diverse nature. There's mountains, there's the desert, there's rivers, there's lakes, there's snow, there's everything that you can think of nature-wise, and it is so beautiful. There's caves, wow, it is a very, very special place in that sense. And I can see why there's conflict over that piece of land, because Israel is not a big country. It's a small country with over 9 million people, but it is so beautiful. And every town you visit, there's something to see, something to do. And I feel like that's one of the things that I really loved about Israel, because every other day I would spend it doing road trips, going around the country. And because it's such a small country, you can visit so many places in one day and then drive back home within a few hours, right? So I feel like the beauty and the diversity of the nature is one of the things that I absolutely loved about living in Israel. And the second thing that I loved about living in Israel, guys, is there are lots of things to do and lots of places to visit. Oh my gosh, just in Tel Aviv alone, there is so much you can see. I went on a safari in Ramat Gan, I even found an African restaurant in Tel Aviv, and I was able to eat Nigerian food there, right? There's so much stuff. There's malls, so many things that you can do in Israel. You can go to concerts. I've been to concerts. You can go to shows. You can go to the backyard of someone and there's live band playing, and you can go to the clubs. You can go anything that you want to do, you can actually do in Israel, because there's so much to see. You can go to Eilat. You can go on a boat cruise. You can go ziplining. You can go to Nimrod's fortress. You can go to Mount Hermon, which I've been to, and there is endless things to do. I feel like throughout my 13 months in Israel, I've been to over 20 places, right? In terms of parks and zoos, safari, and ancient places and towns. It's endless. It's so much. There's so much of it I can't even remember. I need to go over my camera roll to remind myself, right? I've been to hot springs also. So yeah, there are tons and tons and tons of things to do and see in Israel. And I feel like this is the second reason why I loved living in Israel. And the third reason why I love living in Israel is availability of resources. Okay, and when I say this just having come from Cape Verde. Cape Verde is an island off the coast of West Africa. It's a group of 10 islands, 9 inhabited. And when you live on an island, there's not often certain things that you need. Availability of resources is limited, right? Because you're on an island, sometimes this is available, sometimes that's not available. But that's not the case. In Israel, you have everything. It's a big country, it's an advanced country. Anything you need, you will find. Of course, cost a lot of money, but you know, you will find anything that you want. So availability of resources is something that you can't really take for granted, right? So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I love living in Israel, because you can get anything you want whenever you want it. And the fourth reason why I absolutely love living in Israel are the restaurants. Oh my God, Israel has fantastic restaurants all around the country. And it's not just about having nice restaurants, it's about the vibe, okay? When you go to a restaurant in Israel, they treat you well in terms of you have a whole welcome package, you know, like welcome platter of olives and maybe cheese and like small little bowls of little things that you can nibble on and munch on while you're waiting for your main meal, okay? That's something I absolutely love, and that's something I haven't seen anywhere else. Maybe it's a Middle Eastern thing, I don't know, but wow, I really like that. When you go to a fancy restaurant, or any restaurant, or most restaurants maybe, you get small things to nibble on while you're waiting for your main meal, and it makes you feel special. It makes you feel like, okay, they don't just want to get my money for the food and things like that. So I feel like that's something I love. And the food in Israel is good, you know. The restaurants are done well in my opinion, and I don't think I ever had a bad restaurant experience in Israel. And I've been all around the country. I've been to Herzliya, I've been to Haifa, I've been to Hadera, I've been to Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, Tel Aviv Yafo, Jaffa, I've been to Eilat, I've been to all of these different places, and I always had good food. So that's something that I really appreciate about living in Israel, and I love that. And the fifth thing that I absolutely loved about living in Israel is the quality of life is really high, right? When I first landed in Israel in 2019, my first impression was, wow, this country is super advanced, right? So with an advanced country, like the quality of life is really high. Like anything you want, you can have, right? But of course, it's crazy expensive, right, to maintain a certain standard of living, but you can have a really good quality of life if you can afford it, right? So that's the fifth thing that I loved about living in Israel. And the sixth thing that I loved about living in Israel is Israeli, or should I say Jewish, holidays are so fun. Oh my gosh. Like there's all these holidays. There's Purim, there's I can't even remember them right now, but oh my gosh, they are so fun in terms of, you know, everyone's celebrating and you can feel the celebration in the air. And then there's Independence Day, and I actually experienced Independence Day in Israel, and it was something special. You know, we went to Tel Aviv from Hadera, we booked an Airbnb there, you know, went to a nice restaurant for dinner, and then in the evening, everyone was out in Tel Aviv, like walking the streets, and there were parties on every street corner. Everyone was out, like the vibe was amazing. And then the next day, everyone was at the beach in Tel Aviv, and there was an air show, you know, it's like, show. There was an air show, it's like not drones, but jets, fighter jets were doing shows in the air, and it was really something special. Like you could feel the military power of the country, and it was so intense, and I really had a fun time. It was something really special to me. So Israeli holidays or Jewish holidays are really fun, right? Also in the household, there's a lot of food. There's chund, there's falafel, hummus, all these dishes that you want, and a lot of salads, tomato and cucumber salads, which is a signature salad for Israel. There's everything, and there's so much food and drinking, and it's excitement, and wow, it's really something that I really enjoy, the holidays, Jewish holidays. And yeah, the seventh reason why I love living in Israel is it's way more liberal than a lot of people think. Okay, like I said in a previous video, I'm a Nigerian, and coming from Nigeria, our idea of Israel is, oh, it's a holy place, because most of what we know about Israel is what we've read in the Bible as Christians. And you know, it's a holy place, it's an organized place, and everything's sacred and things. But actually, they're super liberal, to the point that in Tel Aviv there are gay pride parades. In Israel, I met so many gay couples, really, like for real. If smoking weed is decriminalized, so if you're walking around Tel Aviv, you smell weed in the air, it's normal, like no one's gonna arrest you, right? So these are things people don't know if you don't live there, right? So it was really interesting. They're way more liberal than you would think, especially for me as a Nigerian. Maybe if you're from somewhere else in the world, maybe if you're from North America, or you're from somewhere in Europe, maybe you already knew this, but it's something that I had to realize once I got there, right? And it's pretty cool, right? Of course, there's the Orthodox Jews who are super religious and everything, but I mean, there's always religious people everywhere, right? So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love living there. It's that they're more liberal than people thing, right? And the eighth reason why I love living in Israel is local Israeli food is amazing, okay? You go out partying in Tel Aviv on a Thursday night, right? Because Friday is Shabbat, and you are hungry or something, you go out after the club or so and you have a burek or so, and wow, spinach burek, it's so nice. Or you have a knafe or something, or you have a hummus and pita. Wow, local Israeli food is really good, and it's also healthy food, I must say. So I feel like that's one of the things I loved about living in Israel. The food is amazing, right? And I feel like this is worth mentioning. This is not with regards to food, but a lot of people don't know that in Israel, the work week starts on Sunday, right? Starts on Sunday and ends on Thursday, right? Shabbos starts on Friday and Saturday. So in some places on Shabbos or during Shabbos, let's say on Saturday, there's no moving around. Like, I mean, religious Jews don't do anything on that day. It's a day of no work, right? And if their house is burning down, they cannot put the fire out because they're not allowed to work, and that's considered work. Like, it's a whole thing. I'm not even going to go into it. But yeah, that was something I realized, that the work week starts on Sunday and ends Thursday or Friday, early Friday-ish, because for Friday evening to Saturday it's Shabbos, right? So Sunday is the Monday in Israel. That's just something worth knowing, right? And guys, the ninth reason that I loved living in Israel is there's a lot of history to it. Like, there are so many historic places. I mean, places you've read about in the Bible, and you go and you can visit it today. I feel like that's something that I really loved about it. Like, you see all these ruins and these fortresses and even all these preserved places. If you visit Jerusalem, right, you can walk where Jesus walked, right? Like, you can visit all the places that you've read about from the Bible. So I feel like that is something that is so cool, right? You feel like you're part of history just being there, right? So that's the ninth thing that I loved about living in Israel. And the 10th thing, guys, that I loved about living in Israel is everything works in Israel, okay? Yes, I'm coming from Nigeria, right, where nothing works. There's no safety, there's no electricity, there's nothing. Like, you're just surviving. And to have a decent quality of life, you have to pay a lot in Nigeria. So coming from that environment, it's good to be in a place where everything works. Of course, every place has their issues. I'm sure there's issues in Israel, you know, with regards to violence and this and that, but also everything works, and it's great to have that, you know. And something worth mentioning, outside of the things that I loved, in Israel, I realized most homes have a bunker, okay? Because of the constant threat of war, most homes have a bunker, like a secure, fortified room within the house. So if rockets are coming, you can run into the bunker and hide, and you will probably not be dead. Crazy, right? So that's something that I had to learn as well. So what do you think of this video? Do you understand some of the things I talked about? Do you relate? Have you visited Israel? Do you plan to visit in Israel? So tell me more about it in the comments. And if you have any specific questions, something that you would like to know, feel free to ask me in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!